This episode of Lawyers Tell All is brought to you by the Intake Academy. Do you know how to cement relationships with more of your ideal clients, get them to commit to you, and send you more referrals than you ever thought possible? Visit www.intakeacademy.com, where you will get the strategies you need to make the most of your marketing and advertising dollars. Plus, develop a team of intake specialists and attorneys who convert more qualified case opportunities and build meaningful relationships with prospective clients. Welcome to the Lawyers Tell All podcast, where Chris Mullins, the preeminent sales and communications consultant in the legal industry, shows you how it looks through lawyers' eyes. Here, innovators in the trenches provide powerful insights that help you connect with new clients, handle the sometimes harsh realities of the legal profession, and embrace the mindsets needed to succeed. Be sure to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, lean in, tune in, and let's take a deep dive.
Hello, everyone. It's Chris Mullins with Lawyers Tell All, and today I am going to be interviewing Candace Bui-Walston. And if I didn't pronounce your name right, you can go ahead and fix it for me and just tell everybody about yourself.
Hello, thanks for having me, Chris. My name is Candace Bui-Walston. Yes, it's a little bit harder to pronounce. A little bit about myself. I am actually, my trade background was in education. I have been in education for years. And the last position that I held was in Chicago Public School as an assistant principal. I walked away from that because I want to be at home with my kids. So I started to create an income to work from home. I started as a math tutor into a marketing coach, and now, I have been working so many years working from home. I have worked with an educational company as instructional specialist and marketing coach and consultant and business development. So I have years of experience of, working from home, working for myself, working for other people from this corner of my house.
Okay, so tell everybody about your business, your current business.
So currently, my business it's called my company is called a Yingming Enterprise. I have a Yingming Group. It's a marketing and business development company. We do website logo design, but we also do coaching on marketing. And we also, as I have the educational background, educating people is one of the biggest things that I have passion in. So I love doing professional development for company on staff development and company culture development. So those kind of things that my company will do, yes.
Okay. So marketing and social media, you can do the heavy lifting for that with regards to law firms.
Yes. So I basically said, I do the things that business owner doesn't want to do, which is to make them look good. Because it's easy for them to do a good job, but it's harder for them to make something look good, to make themselves look good on website.
Right, exactly. Okay, so what about remote workers? What's your advice on hiring remote workers and bringing them into the culture?
So here's the trick with remote worker, right? We for generation, we go to a facility to work. It's face to face. We have those, water station conversation where we could build the camaraderie and, culture and all that. But remote worker, at time, it could be very lonely by yourself if the company is not doing the right way, right? So when you hire remote worker, the biggest thing for hiring remote worker is to really first you have to set the expectation with the remote worker so that they know what you're expecting from them. And in order for them to feel part of your company, there should be something in place to build that culture, whether it's a weekly staff meeting or a bi-weekly staff meeting. It's just something, right? And then there should be a company-wise meeting and like a small department-wise meeting. You always want to include your remote worker in there. And then also you want to make your remote worker feel part of your team, right? I know a lot of company, it's easier to say when you have a building, you go to work with your ID to get into the building. As a remote worker, you could actually easily just go to Canva and create an ID for them. So one of the things that I used to do with some of the people that I hire, even though they're contractor, I still treat them as employee. What I do is on special occasion, like holiday or birthday, I will send them, I will have the team to sign an e-card so Chris's birthday, but Chris is, even though she's not in the office, let's all sign an e-card, send it to Chris so that they could feel it. And so that you could include them in the company team. And another thing is on the website, when you introduce your team, you should, if that's the first thing you need to do is to, once you hire someone, it's to ask them for a profile picture so that you could showcase to people, this is our team member, right? And you should always, and even when we're talking to the team member or talking to our clients, we should always refer, our team member, Chris, we don't refer to them like, oh, our virtual assistant. It just sounds distant. Just continue using the term of team member.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about the different cultures? Like, I mean, there's a lot of remote workers in other countries, and what do you think the business should do about that? In other words, shouldn't we learn about that culture?
oh yes, that's a big deal. So here's the thing. Whether you're hiring a remote worker from overseas or even in this country, like myself, it's an immigrant. For you to hire me, I'm not asking you to learn about my whole background, but at least learn the culture. By knowing the culture, you kind of aware of the way that they're speaking. And I always joke around this. I've been in this country for so long, and I kind of blended into this country already. But for people who probably you notice for Asian people, we are very firm. A lot of time we are very short when we speak, right? So a lot of time we're being interpreted as we're being rude and mean, but we're not. It's just the way that we speak. So learning those different culture could really help you to avoid those misunderstandings.
Yeah.
And asking question, it's a big thing. A lot of people feel kind of weird to ask, like, what's your culture? What do you do? And knowing their culture, it's knowing how you could, talk to them. You understand that the way that their communication. So like a lot of Asian culture, when we speak to our superior, we don't look at their eyes. We kind of look down. It's a form of respect. But in this country, it looks, it seems as we're being disrespectful. So it's just little things like that. It definitely helps to learn about their culture. And also when you learn about their culture, you understand they have a holiday coming up. You show, especially in the virtual world, you show that you know the culture. Oh, Chinese, like 2 days ago was the Moon Festival for the Chinese Vietnamese community. And some little things like that, it could not only avoid the misunderstanding, but also bring us closer,
Yeah. Yeah. So what about like, so let's just say, we'll just say the Asian culture, so they're going to work at a law firm, remote, and, most of the people they're talking to, they speak very clear English.
Yes.
And their prospective clients, they're calling because they need help. They had a car accident, they call the law firm, they need help. So the Asian intake specialist, again, they're virtual. What do we need to know about how that particular person communicates, because I was in a class yesterday and we were talking about this because there are some team members, the Asian culture, and we were finding that we're having a hard time with guiding them to not say too much. Like they're on the phone with a prospective client. We have questions they need to ask, and we teach them what to say back to the prospective client if there's a question or there's pushback or something like that. But these particular individuals, they don't just say that; they say a lot, and then they keep saying it over and over again, and we're trying to get them out of that. So I feel like we're missing something about their communication, like where they come from, that they're not like not listening to us. They're not like, well, we just not listening. They don't understand because we're not teaching them properly.
A lot of time, especially for immigrant, we overly elaborate. It's because we're nervous. We're afraid that people do not understand the first time we said it, so we overly elaborate. For training wise, I suggest we do a lot of role playing. Role playing as you are a client, I'm an intake person, and then vice versa, so that they could feel more comfortable. Role playing, it's a great tool when it comes to this type of training, because you could give them a script to talk about, but anything's out of the script now, they feel as they have to come up with something to say. Yeah. And then now they become like, okay, am I saying enough, or should I explain it a bit more, because they're not comfortable with what they are saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The other thing that came up in that conversation was, so the goal of the intake specialist at the law firm is when the prospect's calling and they had an accident, so they ask the screening questions to see if that person qualifies, that we, the law firm, can help them. And so yes, we can help. And then what we want to do is the intake specialist wants to say, Ms. Mullins, based on everything you said, this is a case that we can help you with. And I'm going to send you our agreement right now via DocuSign. And I'm going to guide you through the process and the signing process and answer your questions. So that's just like a quick little example. What I'm finding is, and I learned yesterday, is that these particular individuals shared with me, well, in our country, we don't make decisions that quickly. We take a long time to make decisions, and we need to get a lot of convincing before we make a decision, but we're not going to make a decision on the spot. So when she said that to me, I thought, oh my gosh.
It is true.
Right.
We Asian people, we like to overcomplicate things. It's something that it's like we have to think about it. We have to continue to think about it because we're afraid. We have that fear of commitment because we don't want people to take advantage of us. It's a culture that we have built. I came from a culture where free is never good. So when somebody gives you something free or whatever, you always think twice and like, what do they want from me? Or if somebody trying to push you to make decision real fast, they might be scammed. They're not used to thinking, okay, if they meet all of my qualifications, if they meet what I'm looking for, like I could make the decision right now. Because we like to overthink it. And then a lot of time, when you have someone on the other side, if the intake, they met someone like this, right? And they cannot make a decision. Sometimes it is easier to, instead of say, well, we meet all of your qualifications, why don't you make a decision? Instead of that, we should ask them questions. Train the intaker, ask them questions. Is this what you're looking for? Yes. Okay. Is this what you're looking for? If the more they say yes, the less convincing we need to do. Right. And then another thing is with with our culture, we are obedient, like we train to obey certain things. So if you give them a script and there's a check mark of yes or no, they go down yes or no. And when they finish that, and there was no additional comments in there, sometimes we don't know we don't know what else to say. And we need to train to be creative.
Yeah.
So if you're hiring someone, you need to kind of start watching throughout the training, give them the script, have them do the thing, but also to see how creative they could get when they in a situation.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is that if you just give them like do these step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they'll do it. Like boom, 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 boom. But obviously communication doesn't work that way. So when it comes to thinking outside of that, that's when the challenge comes.
Yes.
And the reason why they have a challenge with it is because of what?
We in our culture, I always make a joke about this. If you think about it, a lot of products are produced in China. In China, it's very good at you give them a mold, they could mass produce.
Right.
They just know how to
Boom, boom.
repeat the same thing, but they're not trained to be creative.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, in the training, when you're hiring someone, you have a set question that you want them to answer, but also want to train them on the creative side, give them a scenario. Okay, now you answer all of these questions. Now the client's asking this question that's not on the list. What should your answer be?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I get that part. So let's just rewind to the part of Ms. Mullins. I'm going to send you the agreement right now. DocuSign. Did you get it? Great. I'm going to answer your questions. Oh no, I don't want to sign it right now. Like, yeah, I don't want to sign it right now. So the intake specialist from the Asian culture is likely to just let me go, right? Let me think
Right.
about it. Yeah.
Yes.
And so a little while ago, I think you said just teach that person to ask the sales kind of questions to get the yeses,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. I don't know. It just seems like it's an ingrained thing, and it's not something that you can change overnight.
It's not something that you could change overnight, but definitely if a person is coachable, it's definitely something that it could be coached. I mean, look at me. I
Yeah.
grew up in that way, but I have, I have learned a whole different system of how to do things. It's
Right.
coachable.
Yeah. If you have a coachable person. So let me ask you this question then. If I'm the law firm and I want to go hire some intake specialist, just for example, and I want to, for whatever reason, everybody that's applying isn't from the Asian culture. I don't know why. It's just happening that way, right? So what should I look for?
So if you were hiring a virtual intake person from the Asian community, most likely you're hiring someone who's willing to do the work and they're a hard worker.
Yeah.
They just need the space they just need the support and space to be trained and supportive. One of the things that definitely have to watch out for the Asian community is that we don't like to ask questions to show that we don't know. So that's something that if you hire the Asian person, you have to start learning to read, to incorporate those training in there.
Oh my gosh.
It is hard. I mean, I literally just deal with one person yesterday because they don't ask questions. Everything you say, they say, I know, but then they make the mistake. And that's where you have to kind of come in as like, okay, so this is what I told the CEO say. So next time this person say, I know, just tell them, why don't you do it for me? Instead of telling them, well, you don't know. Let me show you. Don't do that. Just say,
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Mhm. Oh my gosh. Well, so every time that we have a Zoom class and we have um remote workers from the Asian community and we're asking questions and
they're
nobody
silent.
answering, it's because
They're silent. Not, you don't meet a lot of Asian people like me. I have a big mouth and I will ask questions if I don't know. But Asian people, we are very modest. Even if we know, we don't say anything, and if we don't know, we don't want to show that we don't know.
yeah,
It's a tricky thing.
yeah. But is it possible it's not what we're saying right now, what we're discussing at this very moment is not just the Asian culture? It's other countries in general?
In general, I mean, I'm looking at as when you're hiring someone to work for you, the first 3 to 6 months, it's a learning process for you and the person that you hire. And you have to start looking at every single person is going to be different. You know, I'm hiring Chris. Chris is like a go-getter, ask questions. Chris is not shy to talk. But Candace is, on the other hand, is like she put her head down. She worked really hard, but she makes a lot of mistakes, and we don't know why. Everything we do, it's because the different learning style. You kind of have to like learn their learning style. And, you know, for Candace, the hard worker, definitely something that, you know, you have to, you know, praise them on, but also encourage them to ask questions or even give them a task that you know that they might not even know how to do it to see if they will ask questions.
Right. Yeah. Right. But let's just go back just for one moment. I'm looking at the time because I want to stay time bound. So just go back to the question, like, so if I'm looking to hire folks and for whatever reason, let's just say the Asian community is attracted to the job, are there certain things that like I should look for to hopefully have a higher likelihood to get the right candidate based on everything that we're talking about? Is there any?
Well, so both for Asian or any community,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
definitely to something to look for is, you know, for me myself always, you know, to look something that to look for is if this person is a team player. That's a big thing for me.
right.
I could have a good worker if they're not team player, it's not gonna work for me. So if this person is a team player, if this person understands boundary, because when you're having someone to work virtually for you, they have to understand how to set boundary. Otherwise, there's a chance that because they do not know how to set the boundary between family, home, and work balance, something's gonna fall out. So that's something that definitely have to look into. And then someone who is it's willing to learn, right?
Mhm.
Willing to ask questions.
Mhm.
So those are the things that I think that definitely something that we should definitely look for. Work when you're hiring someone to do virtual work.
Yeah.
I myself been working virtually by myself, for myself, and for other people since 2014. And I have met so many people who work virtually. Some just cannot work out. They do an excellent job working in the office, but they cannot do it at home because they do not know how to set boundaries.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. We just have a couple of minutes left. So, what's the easiest, best resource to go to learn about the culture? Not everything, but like this part of it, like the communication part, the style of communications and everything. You have any idea?
so I myself provide diversity culture training for company, but also another thing is there are different books that people could actually read and learn. One of the books that I love and adore, and every single time when people interview me, I refer that book to. It's the how to how to win, how to influence people and win friends. That
Mhm.
book, I
Mhm.
love that book. It's talking about people building people relationship. You
Right.
know, so that's a good thing. And then also on my website, there's an article on, recruiting new employee for remote working environment, things that you should look out. That's, that another article they probably look into that as well.
Okay, so what's your website so everybody can go there and learn about your company, learn about your marketing, social media, about the remote workers? What's the website that they should go to?
The website it's yingminggroup.com. It's YINGMING group.com.
Okay, all right. Well, fabulous. We'll probably have you on again. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, I'm sure that, the marketing, the social media aspect of what you do is critically important, but also understanding the cultures of the people that you hire and how to bring them into the company and how to communicate with them so that you can do the right thing for them is just as important.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you again real soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Lawyers Tell All, where Chris Mullins takes you on a journey with lawyers in the trenches who show you the realities of what it takes to succeed in this chaotic, crowded, ever-changing profession. Remember to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on Lawyers Tell All.